Remember when McDonald's had all sorts of wild and wonderful menu items? Over the years, they've cooked up some real gems and some head-scratchers, only to take them away. Here are 10 discontinued McDonald's items we'd love to order just one more time. First on the list, the Mac DLT burger was one of McDonald's most revolutionary menu items when it debuted in 1984. Back when people still thought neon clothing was cool and Michael Jackson was moonwalking across stages, this wasn't just any burger, it was a technological marvel disguised as fast food. The burger came in a specially designed dual-compartment styrofoam container that would make modern environmentalists faint on sight. One side kept the beef patty and bottom bun piping hot, while the other maintained the lettuce, tomato, and top bun at a refreshingly cool temperature. The customer would then play food architect, sliding the two halves together for the perfect temperature balance right before taking that first bite. According to former McDonald's executives, the Mac DLT sold surprisingly well, moving over 200 million units in its first year alone. The appeal was simple: a hamburger where the lettuce actually crunched instead of wilting into sad, warm vegetable submission. The slogan practically wrote itself: keep the hot side hot and the cool side cool. Unlike your ex, who was cold all the time. What made the Mac DLT even more memorable was its enthusiastic advertising campaign featuring a young, pre-Seinfeld Jason Alexander belting out a jingle with the passion of a Broadway star auditioning for his dream role. He danced and sang about lettuce freshness with such conviction you'd think crisp vegetables had personally saved his family. The Mac DLT might have continued its successful run if not for the growing environmental concerns of the late 1980s. That large styrofoam container became the burger's downfall as McDonald's faced mounting pressure to reduce their non-biodegradable waste. By 1990, the Mac DLT was discontinued, though its patty would live on in other menu items. Today, in an era of sustainable packaging, one can't help but wonder if the Mac DLT concept might work with eco-friendly materials. After all, who wouldn't want their lettuce to remain as crisp as those outdated jokes your uncle still tells at family gatherings? Perhaps the Mac DLT was simply ahead of its time. And speaking of ahead of its time, McDonald's next discontinued item might just take the crown. The Hoola Burger stands as perhaps the strangest sandwich McDonald's ever put on its menu. Created in the early 1960s, this odd creation featured a grilled pineapple slice instead of meat, topped with a slice of cheese, all nestled between two standard burger buns. Yes, you read that correctly. A hot fruit sandwich sold at a burger joint. It was basically a tropical vacation that nobody ordered, served on a bun. The story behind this tropical mishap is almost as bizarre as the burger itself. McDonald's founder Ray Kroc created the Hoola Burger specifically for Catholic customers who couldn't eat meat on Fridays during Lent. In the 1960s, this religious practice was widely observed, and Kroc saw it as a business opportunity rather than a limitation. His logic? If people can't eat meat, they'll surely want a hot pineapple with melted cheese instead. To determine if customers would embrace this fruity alternative, Kroc set up a head-to-head competition between the Hoola Burger and another new creation, the Filet-O-Fish. Both items were tested at select locations on the same Friday, and whichever sold more would earn a permanent spot on the McDonald's menu. The results weren't even close. The Filet-O-Fish outsold the Hoola Burger by a staggering ratio of 6-1. What's truly amazing isn't that the Hoola Burger failed, but that McDonald's executives actually sat in a meeting room, tried this warm pineapple cheese sandwich, and collectively said, yes, this is definitely what people want instead of meat. In his autobiography, Grinding It Out, Kroc admitted the Hoola Burger was one of his rare missteps. Sales records show that fewer than 200 Hoola Burgers were ever sold across all test locations, and rumor has it that most of those were purchased by curious customers who never returned for seconds. The Hoola Burger became the food equivalent of that awkward high school phase. Everyone tried to pretend it never happened. Would the Hoola Burger fare better today? With the rise of plant-based diets and exotic food combinations flooding social media? Maybe. But in the 1960s, asking Americans to trade their beef patties for grilled pineapple was like asking teenagers to give up their smartphones for rotary dial telephones. Technically possible, but realistically absurd. The Hoola Burger was so unpopular that even vegans in the 1960s were saying, "No thanks, we'll just eat the cardboard box instead." While the Hoola Burger flopped spectacularly, at least it had a clear purpose. The same can't be said for our next discontinued item. Onion nuggets might be the most influential McDonald's failure you've never heard about. These crispy, bite-sized chunks of onion appeared briefly on McDonald's menus in the 1970s, making them ancient history for most fast food fans today. Yet without these crunchy onion bites, we might never have gotten the iconic Chicken McNugget that billions of people have enjoyed since. It's like how your weird uncle's failed garage band somehow inspired your cousin to become a rock star. Nobody saw that coming. Unlike their circular onion ring cousins served at other fast food joints, onion nuggets were chopped onions formed into small cubes, battered, and deep-fried to golden perfection. They came in a small cardboard container, similar to how fries are served, with a side of dipping sauce. McDonald's test marketed them in several cities across the United States, hoping they would become the next big side dish sensation. The shape was so unusual that customers often asked if they were eating deep-fried dice from a very unlucky board game night. What makes onion nuggets historically significant is that they were created by Rene Arend, the same McDonald's chef who later invented Chicken McNuggets. In fact, the cooking process, batter recipe, and even the shape of onion nuggets served as the blueprint for what would become the company's chicken masterpiece. According to McDonald's corporate archives, Arend used almost exactly the same cooking technique and batter for both products. A former McDonald's executive once revealed that onion nuggets actually scored higher in initial taste tests than the original Chicken McNuggets. The problem? They simply didn't fit into the McDonald's business model of the time. The onions needed to be diced fresh daily, which added labor costs, and the nuggets had a shorter shelf life than many other menu items. The onion nuggets were so short-lived that most McDonald's locations never even got a chance to smell them, which is ironic considering we're talking about onions. The only thing that made people cry more than cutting those onions was when they disappeared from the menu. Market research from the era showed that while customers enjoyed the taste, they found the concept confusing. Were they a side dish, an appetizer, a snack? People just couldn't figure out when to eat them, kind of like how nobody knows what to do with fruitcake during the holidays except to give it to someone else. Despite selling reasonably well in test markets, with some locations reporting over 300 orders per day, onion nuggets were quietly discontinued by 1979. The cooking equipment and processes, however, were quickly repurposed for Chicken McNuggets, which debuted in 1980 and became one of the most successful fast food items ever created. While these crunchy onion cubes faded into fast food obscurity, their legacy lives on with every Chicken McNugget sold. Our next discontinued item represents something from the chain's earliest days. The 15-cent hamburger was McDonald's original superstar. From 1940 to 1967, this basic burger cost less than a pack of gum does today. If you told kids now that hamburgers once cost 15 cents, they'd look at you like you claimed dinosaurs used to deliver the mail. This humble creation featured just a beef patty, chopped onions, ketchup, mustard, and 2 pickle slices on a plain bun. No fancy additions, no special sauce, just beef and basics. McDonald's philosophy was simple. Keep it cheap, keep it consistent, keep customers coming back. The numbers behind this burger are mind-blowing. By 1958, McDonald's had sold over 100 million burgers. By 1963, that number jumped to 700 million. The average location in the early 1960s sold about 2,000 of these burgers every single day. The grill workers flipped so many patties, their wrists probably qualified for separate Social Security numbers. The price stayed at 15 cents for decades, even as inflation crept upward. When McDonald's finally raised the price to 17 cents in 1967, customers sent angry letters to company headquarters. People were so upset about the 2-cent increase, you'd think McDonald's had announced they were replacing burger buns with math homework. Economics finally killed the 15-cent burger. Rising beef costs and inflation made the price impossible to maintain while still turning a profit. By the mid-1970s, the basic hamburger cost around 30 cents, and the 15-cent price point became fast food history. The legacy of this burger lives on in every fast food restaurant around the world. It established the fast food model we know today: streamlined menus, consistent quality, and relatively affordable prices. While this simple burger was winning American hearts with its no-frills approach, McDonald's was simultaneously dreaming bigger with menu items designed to make them seem more sophisticated, which leads us to our next discontinued creation. The chopped beefsteak sandwich was McDonald's bold venture into upscale territory back in 1979. Have you ever wondered what happens when a fast food chain tries to go fancy? Unlike their standard round burgers, this sandwich featured an oval-shaped patty made from actual steak chunks pressed together, served on a long sub-style roll. It was basically McDonald's wearing a tuxedo and monocle while still living in its parents' basement. The chopped beefsteak sandwich came dressed to impress with grilled onions and a special steak sauce that was zestier than the usual ketchup and mustard combo. McDonald's even served it in a special cardboard box designed to make the whole experience feel more premium. The box was so fancy, it made regular Big Mac containers look like they should be applying for unemployment benefits. What's surprising is that this upscale sandwich performed well in test markets. Sales data from 1979 shows some locations were selling upwards of 300 sandwiches daily during the initial rollout. McDonald's spent over $2 million advertising this sandwich, more than triple what they typically allocated for new menu items. So why did it disappear? Cost versus profit was the main issue. The sandwich required special ingredients not used elsewhere, creating inventory headaches. It also took longer to prepare than standard burgers, slowing down the kitchen during rush hours. The cooking time was so long that customers who ordered it could start a relationship, fall in love, and plan their wedding before their number was called. By 1981, the chopped beefsteak sandwich vanished from menus nationwide. A former McDonald's executive later admitted the sandwich was ahead of its time and might have fared better in today's more diverse fast food landscape where premium options are more common. This fancy sandwich failed to secure a permanent spot on the menu, but it showed McDonald's willingness to experiment beyond burgers and fries. And speaking of bold experiments that push boundaries, McPizza stands as one of McDonald's most ambitious menu experiments of all time. In the late 1980s, McDonald's looked at the booming pizza industry and decided they wanted a slice of that pie-shaped profit. What started as a test item in 1986 eventually expanded to hundreds of locations by the early 1990s. McDonald's adding pizza to their menu was like your grandpa suddenly showing up with a skateboard and asking if he could hit the half pipe with you and your friends. Unlike most fast food pizzas, McPizza wasn't a sad microwave disappointment. McDonald's actually invested in special ovens and dedicated preparation areas to create a legitimate pizza product. These individual-sized pizzas measured about 8 inches across and came in classic flavors: cheese, pepperoni, sausage, and supreme. Some test locations even offered deluxe versions with more premium toppings. According to internal McDonald's documents, the company spent over $15 million developing McPizza, including custom packaging, specialized equipment, and extensive employee training programs. A 1989 memo to franchisees highlighted that stores offering McPizza saw an average revenue increase of 11% during dinner hours, traditionally a slower time for McDonald's. Why did something showing such promise ultimately fail? The answer comes down to 3 fatal flaws. First, cooking time. McPizzas took approximately 10 minutes to prepare, an eternity in the fast food world where customers expect their food in seconds, not minutes. Drive-through wait times increased so much that cars waiting for pizza would have enough time to depreciate in value before receiving their food. Second, the specialized pizza ovens didn't fit into McDonald's standard kitchen layouts. Franchisees had to invest upwards of $30,000 to retrofit their kitchens, a cost many weren't willing to absorb for an unproven menu item. Third was the identity crisis. McDonald's research discovered that when people wanted pizza, they went to pizza places. When they wanted burgers, they went to McDonald's. The overlap between these cravings was smaller than anticipated, leaving McPizza struggling to find its customer base. By 1996, most McPizza experiments had ended, with the product disappearing from nearly all locations. Interestingly, 2 McDonald's restaurants, one in Orlando, Florida, and one in Pomeroy, Ohio, continued serving McPizza until 2017, becoming tourist attractions for fast food enthusiasts looking to taste this legendary menu failure. As the Golden Arches retreated from trying to dominate dinner time, they began exploring other menu categories where they might find more success, And while savory experiments like McPizza disappeared from menus, McDonald's was about to discover that sometimes the sweetest success comes from the most unexpected places. The strawberry shortcake McSundae arrived on McDonald's menus with little fanfare in the mid-1880s, yet left a lasting impression on dessert lovers nationwide. Unlike today's simple McFlurry options, this dessert featured layers of vanilla soft-serve ice cream, real cake pieces, and sweet strawberry topping, all served in a clear plastic cup that showcased its colorful layers. It was basically the dessert equivalent of a mullet haircut. Business at the bottom with the cake foundation, party on top with the strawberries and cream. McDonald's dessert menu in the 1980s was surprisingly sophisticated. While competitors were serving basic soft-serve cones and sundaes, McDonald's went the extra mile by incorporating actual baked goods into their frozen treats. According to former McDonald's kitchen staff, the cake pieces arrived at restaurants pre-made and were kept frozen until needed, then thawed slightly before being mixed into sundaes. What made the strawberry shortcake McSundae special was its appeal across different customer groups. Market research from 1987 showed that while most McDonald's desserts were purchased primarily for children, over 60% of these sundaes were ordered by adults. A McDonald's quarterly sales report from 1988 revealed that locations in suburban areas sold nearly twice as many strawberry shortcake McSundaes as those in urban centers. The creation of this sundae wasn't merely a random addition to the menu. After the massively successful launch of the McFlurry in the late 1970s, McDonald's was actively looking for dessert innovations that could capture lightning in a bottle twice. Internal memos from McDonald's product development team showed that they tested over 20 different dessert concepts before settling on the strawberry shortcake McSundae. Despite its popularity, logistical challenges doomed this dessert to extinction. The shortcake pieces had a shelf life shorter than a snowman in Florida. Maintaining consistent quality across thousands of locations proved difficult, especially when the dessert required multiple components that had to be stored at different temperatures. Some franchisees complained about the additional training required for employees to properly layer the sundae for that picture-perfect presentation. By the early 1990s, McDonald's began simplifying their dessert menu, focusing on items that could be prepared quickly with fewer ingredients. The strawberry shortcake McSundae quietly disappeared, replaced by simpler sundae options that required less prep work and fewer specialized ingredients. Fans of this lost dessert often reminisce about its perfect balance of textures and flavors: the cold creaminess of the ice cream, the sweetness of the strawberry topping, and the slight chewiness of the cake pieces. While today's McDonald's dessert menu has evolved toward mix-ins and shakes, none have quite captured the same sophisticated dessert experience as the strawberry shortcake McSundae. As McDonald's dessert menu continued to evolve through the decades, other unique treats came and went, including another colorful creation. The Shamrock Shake began its journey in 1970, not as the nationwide St. Patrick's Day phenomenon we know today, but as a secret menu item available only in select McDonald's restaurants. The original version was simply vanilla ice cream mixed with lemon-lime sherbet. No mint flavor whatsoever. It was essentially just a regular milkshake that got dressed up for St. Patrick's Day and never took off its costume. During its first years, the shake was available in fewer than 300 McDonald's locations, primarily in areas with large Irish-American populations. Restaurant managers could decide whether to offer it, making it truly a local secret. Finding one was so difficult that people would brag about it at parties, like they'd spotted a celebrity or found a four-leaf clover in their backyard. The shift to the mint flavor we know today came in 1973, after testing showed people expected a green shake to taste minty, not fruity. Early advertisements described it as having subtle mint notes rather than today's bold mint taste, suggesting the flavor has gotten stronger over time, much like how your uncle's stories get more exaggerated every time he tells them. Most surprising is that the Shamrock Shake disappeared entirely from most McDonald's menus between 1992 and 1999. During this period, it was available in fewer than 100 locations nationwide. Tracking down a Shamrock Shake in the 1990s required more detective work than finding your car keys in the morning when you're already late for work. The limited availability created a cult following. Fans created underground maps showing which restaurants still offered the green treat. One dedicated fan in Chicago reportedly called 67 McDonald's locations in a single day trying to find one. When McDonald's finally restored nationwide availability in 2012, they received over 4,000 thank you letters. Today, McDonald's sells over 60 million Shamrock Shakes during the typical 6-week availability window each year. From humble regional experiment to nationwide seasonal icon, the Shamrock Shake's scarcity actually helped cement its legendary status in fast food culture. And while the Shamrock Shake represents McDonald's successful venture into seasonal offerings, it wasn't the only nostalgic beverage that once graced their menu before disappearing into the fast food history books. Root beer floats were a McDonald's menu staple during the 1950s and early 1960s. These simple treats featured vanilla ice cream and fizzy root beer. Those first moments watching the ice cream float and fizz were more satisfying than finding money in your winter coat after 6 months of summer. Early McDonald's had actual soda fountains with staff who knew exactly how to prepare the perfect float. Sales records show these treats accounted for 20% of summer beverage sales, costing just 20 cents each. Unlike items that were officially discontinued, root beer floats disappeared gradually. As McDonald's standardized operations and adopted automated drink systems in the mid-1960s, these labor-intensive treats began vanishing. The root beer float became such a casualty of efficiency that it never even got a proper funeral. It just stopped showing up to work one day like that substitute teacher everyone liked but nobody remembers. By 1970, most locations had stopped serving them, though some continued unofficially until the mid-1970s. Even root beer itself eventually disappeared from McDonald's when their partnership with Coca-Cola eliminated it from the beverage lineup. While this nostalgic treat faded away, McDonald's was already focusing on its next strategic move against competitors in the ever-escalating fast food wars. The Big and Tasty Burger appeared in 1997 as McDonald's direct challenge to Burger King's Whopper, with a quarter-pound beef patty, lettuce, tomato, onion, pickles, and special sauce on a sesame seed bun. It wasn't just similar to the Whopper, it was practically its twin. It was about as subtle as showing up to your ex's wedding wearing white and bringing your own cake. Before settling on Big and Tasty, this burger went through an identity crisis with names like Big Extra and Big and Tasty in different regions. McDonald's spent $5 million on naming research, which is like paying a fortune to rename your pet rock Pet Boulder. The burger joined the dollar menu in 2002, which boosted popularity but cost the company 7 cents on every sandwich sold. McDonald's was essentially paying customers to eat their Whopper knockoff, a business strategy usually reserved for toddlers trying broccoli. After 14 years of menu musical chairs, McDonald's retired the Big and Tasty in 2011. Despite selling over 800 million units, it never quite achieved its mission of dethroning the Whopper. These discontinued McDonald's items, from the innovative Mac DLT to the forgotten root beer float, remind us that even in the world of fast food, nothing lasts forever.